Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Pharmacon tutorial. Today we will talk about corticosteroids. So let's get started. Corticosteroids are classes of drugs that are similar to endogenously produced cortisol by the adrenal cortex. As we know, adrenal gland is composed of two portions, that is medulla and cortex. Cortex is further divided into three zones, that is zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata and zona reticularis. The zona glomerulosa secretes mineralocorticoids, whereas zona fasciculata secretes glucocorticoids and zona reticularis secretes androgens. Corticosteroids can be divided into two, that is glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. These glucocorticoids have liver glycogen deposition and glycogenic effect, whereas mineralocorticoids are mainly responsible for sodium-water retention and thus water and electrolyte balance. Moving on to the mechanism of action. These glucocorticoids penetrate the cell membrane and bind to the glucocorticoid receptor protein that is present in the cytoplasm. This glucocorticoid receptor has a steroid binding domain and a mid-region, that is the DNA binding domain. Structural changes occur in the steroid receptor complex that allows it to migrate the nucleus. That is, this steroid bound receptor gets dimerized and translocated into the nucleus, and it interacts with the specific DNA sequence which is called the glucocorticoid responsive element, that is the GRE. Then expression of this gene is altered, resulting in the transcription. The specific mRNA is produced and is directed towards the ribosome, where the message is translated into specific protein which modifies the cell function. Now let's have a look at some of the drugs. These glucocorticoids are divided into two categories based upon their systemic action and topical action. Systemically acting glucocorticoids are again divided into short-acting, intermediate-acting and long-acting glucocorticoids. This short-acting glucocorticoids, for the first one is the hydrocortisone, which is endogenously synthesized, to which others are compared. And cortisone is rarely used nowadays. These drugs is mainly used in emergency in acute adrenal insufficiency due to any sort of trauma to adrenal glands, leading to no hormone production, and it is used for replacement therapy. They are also used in status asthmaticus as well as anaphylactic shock. The next category is the intermediate acting, that is to 12 to 36 hours. The drugs coming under this category are prednisolone, prednisone, methylprednisolone, triamcinolone. This triamcinolone, it is more toxic than prednisolone and it has no mineralocorticoid activity. These drugs are mainly used as anti-allergic, anti-inflammatory, immunosuppressant and also in malignancies involving lymphocytes because they have a property to suppress the lymphocytes. Again, they have a lesser degree of hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis suppression, that is HPA axis suppression, and thus won't inhibit ACTH so much that it leads to adrenal atrophy. Next is the long-acting glucocorticoids. The drugs coming under this category are betamethasone, dexamethasone. These are long-acting and have highly potent anti-inflammatory and immunosuppressive effect, but they have no mineralocorticoid activity. They cause severe HPA axis suppression and these drugs are used to promote lung maturation in fetus when premature delivery is anticipated. Next, about the topical glucocorticoids. These includes beclomethasone, budesonide and fluticasone. These drugs can be inhaled during asthma attack and also used in allergic rhinitis. It is also used in COPD and causes minimal HPA axis suppression. Moving on to the mineralocorticoids,
The drugs coming under this category are desoxycorticosterone acetate, then fludrocortisone and aldosterone, which is not used. These two drugs, that is desoxycorticosterone acetate and fludrocortisone, are mainly used in Addison's disease as replacement therapy when there is adrenal insufficiency of adrenal hormones. Next, moving on to the uses of glucocorticoids. We have discussed many of the uses of glucocorticoids along with the drugs, but there are a lot of other uses that we will discuss in two separate headings, that is action on endocrine and the other one is the non-endocrine action. First, let us discuss about the endocrine action. These glucocorticoids are mainly used in the case of acute adrenal insufficiency. This is mainly due to the trauma, infection or hemorrhage of the adrenal gland, and this will lead to the decrease in the adrenal corticotropic hormone. So here we can supplement this using hydrocortisone, which is given IV route. Secondly, chronic adrenal insufficiency, which is also called as the Addison's disease. In this case, we will give oral hydrocortisone. This glucocorticoids, it can be also used in the adrenogenital syndrome. Mainly dexamethasone is given. Highly potent dexamethasone is given to suppress the pituitary ACTH so that no adrenal androgens are produced. Now next, moving on to the non-endocrine uses of glucocorticoids. There are abundant uses coming under this non-endocrine. They can be discussed under the following heading. The first one is the anti-inflammatory effect. This anti-inflammatory effect is mainly due to the production of lipocortin, which is a protein that will inhibit the phospholipase A2. Inhibition of this phospholipase A2 will lead to no production of prostaglandins and leukotrienes. Due to its anti-inflammatory activity, this can be used in the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, rheumatic fever, bronchial asthma, then nephrotic syndrome, ulcerative colitis, etc. This glucocorticoids has immunosuppressant effect, and this effect is mainly due to the inhibition of the interleukin alpha, TNF alpha and integrin. So they can be used in autoimmune disease, then hematology disorders, certain malignancies, and even in organ transplantation to reduce the risk of rejection. Next, about the calcium level. Glucocorticoids decreases the calcium level, and their capability of decreasing this plasma calcium level is mainly due to the inhibition of calcium absorption from the intestine and increased excretion, and this can be used in hypercalcemia of malignant disease and also in vitamin D intoxication. Next, moving on to the anti-allergic effect. Due to the inhibition of the lymphocytes and cytokinins, they can be used in bronchial asthma, skin diseases. That is, in skin diseases, it reduces the pain, itching and inflammation. So it can be used in anti-allergic treatment. Next is about the diagnostic use. Here, this is known as the Dexon suppression test, and this is mainly done to differentiate between the ACTH produced by the pituitary in the Cushing's disease. Next, moving on to the side effects of glucocorticoids. This side effect is basically extension of its physiology. This glucocorticoids has effect on carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism, fat metabolism. It has anti-inflammatory effect, sodium water retention, calcium level is decreased, immunosuppressive effect and negative feedback effect of ACTH. So first let us discuss about the carbohydrate metabolism. These glucocorticoids will stimulate the glycogen deposition in the liver and gluconeogenesis, and also decreases the peripheral utilization of the glucose. So this will lead to a net effect of hyperglycemia and decreased sensitivity to insulin. And so they will precipitate diabetes. Therefore, glucocorticoids are contraindicated in diabetics. For the protein metabolism, these glucocorticoids will break down the proteins and mobilization of amino acids from lymphoid tissue. This leads to muscle wasting, lympholysis, thinning of the skin, loss of bone matrix, etc. Next, about the fat metabolism. Prolonged use of these glucocorticoids causes a redistribution of body fat that is deposited over the neck, face, shoulder, etc. and result in moon face, buffalo hump, fish mouth with thin limbs. Next, about the anti-inflammatory effect. Due to this anti-inflammatory effect is mainly due to the inhibition of prostaglandins. And as we know, this prostaglandin is necessary for the protective action of the gastric mucosa. So inhibition of this prostaglandin will lead to peptic ulcer. Next, about sodium water retention. This sodium water retention will lead to edema and even increased blood pressure. It also precipitates CCF. These glucocorticoids will decrease the plasma calcium level. So decreased calcium level may lead to osteoporosis and even fracture risk is high. Next, about the immunosuppression effect. Due to the immunosuppression effect, they may cause opportunistic infections due to bacteria, virus, etc. Negative feedback effect of ACTH and another side effect. This negative feedback of ACTH will cause adrenal atrophy and acute adrenal insufficiency is precipitated.